Let's be honest. Most startup advice begins with get your pitch right. And the moment you hear that, your mind jumps to the deck, the slides, the format. But a great pitch doesn't start with the design. It starts with the intention. Because under every strong pitch, under every meaningful startup is one thing: people helping people. If you forget that, you're just presenting data. But if you remember it, you're creating a connection. We have all heard the advice: don't get attached to the solution. That's a good start, but I will push it further. Don't get attached to the problem. And honestly, don't get attached to the idea either. Why? Because if your intention is clear, the problem will shift, the idea will evolve, but you will still stay grounded. That's exactly what happened with my own venture. Let me walk you through it. We are currently building a startup to unlock financing for climate and agri-tech ventures in emerging markets, India and Africa. When we started, we thought the biggest challenge was currency volatility. That's what our original pitch focused on. Here's how it went. We help clean energy projects grow and sustain in developing countries by solving their biggest hidden problem: currency swings. It felt right, it sounded sharp, but as we kept speaking to potential customers and running our minimum viable tests or MVTs, we realized that was only part of that picture. The deeper issue wasn't just how money moved, it was how energy was consumed. Clean energy systems were in place, but people couldn't afford to use them. Demand was unreliable, carbon credit markets were a mess. It wasn't just access to finance, it was a broken loop of incentives. So we expanded our model. Now, we don't just hedge currency risk. We offer gold-backed, low volatility loans that help subsidize energy consumption and unlock real economic impact. Here's what our pitch evolved into. Emios Energy Ventures provides gold-backed, low volatility loans to climate and agri-tech ventures in emerging markets, reducing interest rates by over 50% and unlocking access to $12.4 billion in underserved finance. Airbnb didn't start out with homes. It started with air mattresses. Slack wasn't a communication company. It was a side tool for a failed game company. Uber? It began as a luxury car app for a handful of cities. What they all had in common wasn't a perfect idea. It was a commitment to solve something real. They stayed with the intention even as the idea changed. That's what matters. This is where more founders struggle. They fall in love with the product instead of staying committed to the people it's meant to help. I always come back to three questions. Who are you really here to help? What problem are you trying to solve for them and not for you? Why now? Get those answers right, and a pitch has something money can't buy: emotional clarity. Intention isn't some abstract thing, it's a real overlap. It's what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what people will pay you for, and what's relevant right now. Sahil says it best: build something you want to see in the world and then share it. Don't chase trends, follow your alignment. That's where clarity and traction begins. Everyone talks about finding your purpose, but most people try to think their way into it. That's a mistake. Simon Sinek, in his book Start With Why, said it clearly. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. But that why has to come from a place of service and not strategy. Stephen Covey, in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, lays out a principle that I've always found powerful. Begin with the end in mind. He explains that all things are created twice, first in the mind and then in the real world. You have to be able to see and believe in what you want to create before you can actually build it. And then there is Sahil, founder of Gumroad and author of The Minimalist Entrepreneur. He said, build something you want to see in the world, then share it. I resonate deeply with Sahil's philosophy. It's minimalist, it's honest, it aligns with what we stand for at Minimalist Innovation. It's about doing less with more intention. That's the kind of alignment that turns ideas into movements. And let's be real. If you're an entrepreneur, you're likely going to spend the next 10 to 15 years of your life building this. That's not a short term gig, that's a chunk of your life. You have to be genuinely passionate about the problem you're solving. Otherwise, it'll wear you down. So, getting the step right, being honest about your intention, isn't optional, it's essential. Purpose isn't created in a workshop, it's revealed through honest observation and real alignment. Now, let's talk about what not to do. There's a big difference between being an entrepreneur and being an idea person. Entrepreneurs execute, they stay focused, they evolve, but with a purpose. The ones who bounce between ideas constantly, they are usually not building, they are avoiding. They haven't anchored into a deep intent. Because startups aren't about collecting ideas, they're about turning one intent into a meaningful, consistent action. And when the pressure hits, it always does. It's not the idea that carries you through, it's the intention behind it. There's a big difference being busy with ideas and building with purpose. Creative geniuses might impress people, but intentional creators, those who evolve with purpose, are the ones who make the lasting impact. Ego burns out fast, but good intention, that sustains. If you're building something real, let your intent do the talking. The rest will follow. If your pitch isn't landing, don't start by changing the slides. Start by getting clear on what you believe. You're not pitching an idea, you're pitching your intention. Here is your gut check. Would you build this even if no one noticed? Can you name the people this work is really for? Would your mission survive without your name on it? Start there and stay there. If you want help turning that clarity into a pitch that connects, book a free consult with me using the link in the description. Let's make it real.